Dozens of fascists and white supremacists attended a neo-Nazi event here in Vancouver this summer. The CBC's visual investigation team obtained video from the event from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which tracks hate groups. They spent months putting names to the faces at the gathering, and it showed a disturbing trend. CBC's Eric Cito joins us now from Toronto. And start with, if you will, telling us about this meeting and the secret location.
Yeah, Ian, so the conference was organized by a group called Exiles of the Golden Age. And for those not familiar with it, experts say that they're a kind of a folkish group that incorporates a lot of Germanic and Nordic traditions, pagan traditions into their literature and posts. But there's also a lot of white supremacist elements, right? Like there's a lot of swastikas in their posts, a lot of fascist authors that idealize Adolf Hitler. And this year's conference, and this is their words, was about forming disciplined groups of men who could rebuild the world amidst the coming wreckage. And this got the attention of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. They took notice right away. It was a secret location, but they figured out where it was, South Vancouver at the Scottish Cultural Centre. And what they did when they found out the location, they sent a photographer there to document all the people going in and out, and they shared the video with us, and we spent months analyzing essentially and trying to ID these people. And what we found amongst the more than 50 attendees, neo-Nazis, well-known neo-Nazis, white supremacist groups like Second Sons and active clubs.
We knew that this event, the way it was marketed, the places it was marketed, we knew that very specifically this is a neo-Nazi event. The reason that we've been warning about the size and the threat of the white nationalist movement, they have managed to put aside a lot of their differences. They have managed to sort of figure out a unified and coherent strategy. And they are successfully recruiting large numbers of people doing it.
So there were white supremacists among this group, but also some attendees that maybe people might not expect to be there.
Yeah, members of the mixed martial arts community. We're talking gym owners, coaches, trainers. And I just want to back up for a second. A few months ago, we actually did an investigation about how these fascist fight clubs were popping up across the country, where these people were, these groups were basically training and preparing for the looming race war. And in that story, where we identified public gyms and public parks and private gyms where these guys were training, the gym owners in that case, they said they had no idea this was happening there. Fast forward a few months later and flip that on its head a little bit, we're finding that a lot of the people that were attending, even helping organizing or speaking at the event, were members of this community from across BC as well, from Vancouver Island to the Fraser Valley. And they were working with, diverse clientele, children. And so we brought this to a number of experts that study extremism. We wanted to figure out, what is this overlap between white supremacy and essentially MMA culture? And they basically said that this is proof that this problem is growing in the sport, and something needs to be done about it.
And so what did the gym owners and coaches say when you reached out to them?
Yeah, so we reached out to all the people we named in our story, and I just want to note that the Exiles actually posted and said that not to talk to any journalists for the story. But when we did reach out to a number of people, some of them hung up on us. A lot of them didn't respond to our emails or calls. But we did manage to speak to a couple of the people. And one of those fellows is a fellow named Carl Stornis Bliss. He's a he owns a strength training company out of Mission, BC. He was a children's coach at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu place in the same city. And what we contacted him, we knew he was at this event. He told us that he didn't know what we were talking about. He didn't know about this event, but we knew it was him because of the video that was provided to us. It showed that he was wearing the same shirt with the same arm tattoos as in social media posts. And one other note about Stornis Bliss here is on his social media too, there were a lot of nods to white supremacy and neo-Nazism. On the back of his motorcycle helmet, there was a Nazi SS symbol. On his stomach there, he had a tattoo of a Totenkopf, which is the death mask used by the Nazi SS, right on his stomach there. So, we wanted to figure out from there, what about the gym that he worked at, that he coached at, Mission BJJ? We spoke to the owner there, and he said that he had no idea about Stornis Bliss's affiliations.
Led to believe this was a jiu-jitsu seminar. Yeah, it's crazy because my gym has so many diverse backgrounds of Indians, Filipinos, and if I thought that we had a white supremacist there, it actually blows my mind, to be honest. But
is he still going to be at your gym, or is he done with your gym?
No, I've told him to leave the gym.
So we also wanted to reach out to the City of Vancouver just to get their comment and reaction to this event. So we ended up speaking to City Councillor Rebecca Bly, and she said she was alarmed by our findings. She says extremist groups, hate groups are not welcome in Vancouver, and that she would be bringing this up with the Vancouver Police Department. As for the Scottish Cultural Centre, where the event was held, we spoke to the executive director there, and he said basically that they had no idea this event was happening, that they were told there was a book launch. So in light of our revelations, he said that they're going to be reviewing their booking policies.
The CBC's Eric Cito in Toronto. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, a disturbing story, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from our next guest on this. Arjun Bhullar became the first MMA fighter of South Asian descent to win a world championship after he won the one championship heavyweight title. What do you think of this story when you read about this connection between white supremacists and MMA?
It was shocking, to be quite honest with you. Sport in general, there's no place for this. Martial arts in particular, you promote discipline and respect and honor and community. You work with kids, shocking that there's a connection within our community to this, but it is a fringe minority, and there's no place for this. You're
a tough guy who obviously is articulate, but at the same time, you know how to solve something using your hands. Do you kind of wish you could get some of these guys in the ring with you?
That was I'll be honest now, if we're TV cameras off, that was my first
I'll bet
reaction.
I'll bet it was.
But then you think about it and you think fighting hate with hate has never been the answer, right? This is ignorance. They're cowardly people that do this. That's why it's in secret. They're not willing to stand on their beliefs and give their names and that type of thing. They're cowards, end of the day.
Yeah. So,
you can't fight hate with hate. You can educate, you can help them out of ignorance, a lot of that stuff, and at the end of the day, you just cut them out. And I'm sure that's what our community is going to do.
So this group, Exiles of the Golden Age, had you heard about them at all? Did you know anything about them?
To be honest, no.
Yeah.
It's not a world that I think we would mix in. They wouldn't be in my world and I wouldn't be in theirs, for obvious reasons. But look, we've got the poppies on, Remembrance Day tomorrow. This is an ideology we've been fighting for a very long time. The men and women we're going to honor tomorrow, and remember, they're on the front lines and paid the ultimate sacrifice to fight this type of stuff.
MMA is a rough, tough sport. Yeah. What was it like for you as a South Asian fighter in British Columbia to walk into that world? Did you feel welcome?
You know what? That's why I like this sport, because if you're not welcome or if there's pushback, well, there's a way to settle it. Sign the contract, and we can sort it out. And beyond that, it's a one-on-one sport. Like I said, it's got great foundations promoting respect and humility and discipline and testing yourself to your ultimate limits. It's the reason I launched the Arjun Bhullar Foundation. We've done programs from across Western Canada to basically promote exactly this. Sport and martial arts brings communities, cultures, people together. And that's what this is about. We've run specific programs to fight racism and hate. And that's what sport allows you to do, to come together, not promote hate. So that's what these individuals are about. They do not represent the sport or this community. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's many different emotions, but they're not a part of our community or a representation of who we are.
So how do we fix this?
How do we fix this? I think the first step is awareness. Getting this out there within our own community, I think, is education. If there's a chance to capture some of these individuals and shine a light on the other side of what they're being taught and what they preach, I think that's very important. And ultimately, it just takes time to get through to certain people and give them some runway and some understanding.
Does it give you any concern at all, any anxiety about walking into a gym and training for MMA, knowing that this person next to you may be part of these groups?
To be honest, no. I would be happy to run into someone like this. But that's me. And like I said, I don't know these members at all. And I think that's for good reason. But like